All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of whiskey and barbecue, Lone Stars and Longhorns, this is All In Colts, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. It's time once again to take a look at Colts players and their fantasy stats and projections in our Colts fantasy stable. So, let's go. All In Colts.
Yes, I am Kevin. This is my son Liam. We are the Unstable Blues, happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Guess who's back? One more
time.
The boy is back.
Return of the Mac.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
It's
Colts
time.
Corner Bulletin.
Here it is.
The Colts will again be starting Anthony Richardson against the Jets this week as the free AR movement fans have won.
Yes. We spoke. They listened.
Yes.
Who made the decision? I don't know. We're not quite sure. Yeah. According to Shane Steichen, he met with Irsay, he met with Ballard, but he ultimately made the decision, just like he ultimately made the decision to go with Flacco in the first place. Yeah. Also, shout out to @SconnieColt for who's been just on fire with through this whole thing, advocating for AR. His GIFs, his videos, all of his content just absolutely just crushing it. So I know there are many others, but we took notice. We see you, Scotty.
Mm-hmm. AR also mentioned things like sacrifice, consistency, and magnitude, which leads me to believe that it was really about the tap out. I also saw a couple other things where AR said that it was more of a blessing that he got to sit out these 2 weeks, kind of view it from a different viewpoint. So hopefully he really takes that into effect and performs like we know he can.
Yep. We're excited. I hope you are excited as well. Let's see what happens. I mean, it can't be worse than 1-3, right? It's got to be. I mean, even if it is, at least you get to see what he can do.
And you're going towards the future.
You are moving towards the future. Exactly. I like it. All right.
Yeah.
We played each other in fantasy this week.
We did. Do you want to explain it?
Hold it. Back it up. Okay. Hold up. It started out this week. The probability was 50-50. We were right there, neck and neck. We couldn't have done anything else to our rosters to really make this any better or worse. I mean, we could have made it worse, but
I could have made it a tad bit. I could have made it a tad bit better, but I wasn't. Chuba Hubbard was supposed to do better than two of my running backs, including Saquon.
Just to be clear, let me look up my roster again here. I had Jahmyr Gibbs. I had Jaden Daniels over Bo Nix. J.K. Dobbins. I had Josh First Downs. I had Malik Neighbors. T.J. Hawkinson. I told you I had him on the IR. Snagged him when he was out, so I could put him in this week, not last week, because he played the Colts and his first week back. And then A.J. Brown. I had the Commanders defense because they were playing. It just seemed like that was the right call. I don't know. My defense was on a bye, so I picked somebody else. And I had Tyler Bass.
Yeah. My team ended up getting about 150 points.
Thanks.
I ended up winning.
Yes, you did.
the carry of my team was Joe Burrow, who ended up getting 34 points, pretty much. A lot of points coming from him. My running backs did not so great. Chuba Hubbard was better than all of my running backs, and so was James Conner, who I both left on the bench. My wide receivers didn't do terrible. At the end of the first half, Amon-Ra St. Brown had 4 points. And I was like, okay, I'm still predicted to win, but, like, come on. And then he got another 14 more. And then my Bills, I had the Bills defense who went against Indiana. Not so proud of that one. They got 17 points though. And then my kicker got 12 points. So that was nice. I ended up beating you. And then
I only got 104 points.
What?
I only got 104 points. I was projected to get 128.
I was projected to get 135.
This is how my season has gone. Like, I have not had a good fantasy season. Usually, like, I'm, fairly, like, really good, but this season just not my season. Like,
yeah,
this is like this kind of idea where it's like the players seem to be good, but somehow just that week didn't pick the right ones. Like, I look at my bench, there wasn't a whole lot of other things I could have done, honestly. It's just the way the football falls sometimes.
Oh, wait.
You still beat me.
No. Not everyone gets into the playoffs. That's what I was looking at.
Oh.
I was looking at only top 4 get in the playoffs. Then there's a winner consolation bracket.
Oh.
I'm the only team that has clinched the playoffs.
Yeah. I know. I've noticed that little next to your thing. Also,
I haven't clinched the number 1 seed just yet, though.
Also,
for that.
Shout out to Scotty Colt because he is also undefeated in his fantasy league, and asked if anyone else was. I simply said you'll have to come back on Thursday to find out. So if you're watching, there you go. Yeah, Not this guy.
I am undefeated.
That guy.
Yes.
And he loves to.
Not him.
No, he loves to rub people's faces in it too.
Yes. I never do good in fantasy. And then the other league, I am also in first place. I am 8-2. I started off the season 1-0, then I went 1-1, then I went 1-2, then I went 2-2. I went 2-1, then 2-2, and then I've won the past 6 weeks.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
That's great. Let's the real reason everyone's here.
Yes, Colts fantasy. I don't. Who knows? Maybe people are here to listen to our personal fantasy.
Maybe people, pick up little tidbits.
Yeah,
get a good laugh on how well you do in my reaction to it.
Yeah. Okay, Joe Flacco.
There
will be no projection for this week for obvious reasons, which means we will add someone else in right after this. Joe Flacco last week had 11 points. Not good for a quarterback.
But yet still better than my quarterback.
It's true. So, I mean, Joe Flacco, I don't know what else to say about him because he's not playing this week. Which leads me to the next person, Anthony Richardson, who had 16 points, or is projected to get 16 points. He did not play last week, although there were times where I was like, put him in, just a little bit too late.
We said that, a couple times.
Yep. 16 fantasy points is his projection. I think that's a fair projection. Normally he comes back or comes out the gate strong after he hasn't played. So, for example, last year with injuries, he came out strong. This season, first game he played really well.
Yep.
I'm assuming he should play well this game. I mean, that would be enjoyable. I would like to see that.
Yep.
That's it for the quarterbacks, really. I mean, I guess I could talk about if you put him in or not. I would say give it a shot. If you're kind of struggling with who to put in, whether it be him or someone else. I mean, if it's Lamar or him, put in Lamar. But if it's a legit struggle, like for example Russell Wilson or Jane Daniels versus AR, I'd put AR in just because AR has more of a run threat than those two do.
Who are you playing this week in our league?
My mother.
Okay, all right.
Tu madre.
So not too much.
Oh, mi madre.
Too much. Yes, that's correct.
Tu wife.
I was just curious because I don't your youngest sister who plays fantasy is she had Anthony Richardson. I think she might have on my advice gone ahead and dropped him since but she has Patrick Mahomes in there currently. If you had a choice between Patrick Mahomes and Anthony Richardson this week, and you were giving advice to her, would you play Richardson or Mahomes?
I think I'd play Richardson.
Mahomes is playing
Buffalo,
and
I'd play Richardson.
Okay,
I would play Richardson because
Jets
I think
tough defense. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Oh yeah. Oh, you kidding me?
After the Arizona Cardinals, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Get into it tomorrow. We'll discuss tomorrow.
Yes.
It has been surprisingly a letdown after Salah left.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but I would start Richardson over Mahomes.
Okay, there you go. Richardson over Mahomes. There you go. You're only really going to hear that on a Colts podcast, probably.
Yeah. MPJ, first wide receiver. He didn't play last week, so obviously he had 0 points.
Yep.
He's projected to get 9 points if he does play. He was a full participant in practice.
Yep. Wednesday. So far.
So that's good. Means he's healed up. Means other people don't get as many reps as well. Like Adonai, who, I guess we can jump into him.
Yeah.
He had 13 points, his highest of the season. Compared to other wide receivers around the league, especially this week, was kind of average. There wasn't many high scores necessarily this week. The ball was spread evenly. Besides Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
There was people who got in the 20s and stuff, but
who has Jamar Chase in our league?
Kenna.
That's right.
Yep. 55 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So far, the highest of the season. Which is crazy.
That's what happens if T. Higgins isn't there, you know?
It's true.
He's going to see more.
Mm-hmm. Adonai Mitchell was about average last week, I'd say.
Yep.
He's projected to get 5 points. If I were you, don't put him in. Last time he had a good game, he kind of had one of his worst games of the season. So unless proven otherwise, don't put him in.
Yeah.
Although I think he could see the ball a lot more with AR being in there. I feel like AR likes to target him. Whether or not he can catch the ball or not, though.
Whether it's thrown well.
It's true. Alec Pierce, 18 points. That's great for wide receiver. One of the tops this season, up there with Amon-Ra. Obviously, he was in top 10. I saw that on the red zone thing whenever I was watching. I saw Alec Pierce was 6th at the time. I think he ended up being 7 or 8.
But if you remember back to Monday's episode, you can go back and watch that if you want our recap. AD and AP had the same number of yards. So the difference in the score is literally the Alec Pierce touchdown, which literally meant nothing in the game because it happened at the very end, right? Literally the very end.
2 seconds left on the clock and they scored.
And so it didn't matter, but it matters in fantasy. But once again, we're not going to get into this whole debate about fans going after players because, they didn't give them their fantasy points or they messed up their parlays and bets, and they're just playing the game. And the Colts were trying to score as many points as they could, as quick as they could, just couldn't quite get it done. They didn't give up, but neither should you. But, don't go after them for, not performing or, doing game situations.
Yeah,
That's just
exactly.
ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the difference. Like if the touchdown would have gone to AD, then he would have gotten 18 points. So the difference between average and good is literally a touchdown that could be in junk time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pierce is projected to give out 5.5 points. So I don't know if I would put him in. He's another one of those shaky guys. Not much else to say really about him.
Yep.
Josh Downs, though, is a different story. Last week he had 14 points, so the ball got spread around really, really well. I did say put him in. I did predict that. You did put him in.
Did. Yep.
He was one of your top scorers, I believe.
At 14.
His comparison to others was about average, same as AD.
Yep.
His projection, although compared to AD and Pierce, is higher than theirs this week at 12 points. Pretty normal for him now. I would say keep him in because AR hasn't used Downs as much, although
not
last
really.
year. What I'm hoping is this break kind of lets him get back, kind of lets AR get back to what he was doing last year. Kind of a mental break from the game, not stressing as much. Just be like, people are expecting stuff of me, but that's okay. I'll play like I did last year.
Yep.
And then everything will be fine. And he threw a lot to Downs last year, so I'd say put Downs in.
Go out and play loose. Now,
exactly.
This is a good opportunity to note that all the points that we are giving as far as totals and projections are all based on a PPR league.
Yes.
Points per reception. And so that once again is a difference between Downs and AD. AD caught less passes, I believe, than Downs. Downs usually catches more passes than some of the other receivers. He's targeted a little bit more, especially with Flacco at quarterback. But the nature of how he runs routes and things like that, sometimes he's the safety valve, and so it's planned to go, but he, gets open, right?
He's just there, yeah.
Right, and so that's why, as far as PPR league, Downs may be a better choice than somebody, even maybe than Pitt, simply because he's going to get those regular amounts of touches.
And I mean, in my opinion, as what I see right now, Downs is the number one receiver.
Oh yeah,
I don't see any reason why he isn't. He's been playing really well.
The only reason would be Anthony Richardson comes back and just tries to bomb it all the time. That's not where Downs works well.
Which is not what we should do, but we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We will.
So that's kind of the wide receivers. We'll move on to one of the last ones being my guy, Jonathan Taylor. Last week he had 14 points. It wasn't as much as I thought just because he had a lot of yards, but no touchdowns. Normally touchdown will put him up by 20.
5 carries. Second half.
Yeah. Run the ball and keep running the ball. They did not do that. We talked about that in Monday's episode. I was a little frustrated about that.
I have a feeling that may come up in tomorrow's episode too.
Yeah. Just a little bit. It's about average. A lot of these guys this week are average. Normally they're below average. Some of them are. So that's good. But JT is not one for average. He's above average. So we'll see if they actually run the ball and keep running the ball. Maybe they should just listen to our podcast. I feel like that would be a good game plan. I feel like, of course, we think that.
Of course, we think that, but the Colts organization would run much smoother if they would just listen to our advice and take our advice.
Yeah, I agree.
Teaser for future. We will be doing an episode where all we are going to discuss are all of the things that we have gotten correct over the season.
Yep.
Either things that we have called, things that we have said to do correctly that they did, or things that we said that they did that they didn't and they would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have an entire episode over the bye week over that one. That should be fun.
Yeah. His projection, though, for this week is 18 points, kind of the normal for him. Put him in. Don't think about it. Just put him in. He's playing a Jets defense who just let up 22 fantasy points with James Conner, who on the ground. And I would consider the running offense of the Colts to be better than the Cardinals.
Yeah, and both those running backs are very complementary, very similar in how they go about things. James Conner's a little bit more of a bruiser, but I would say that Jonathan Taylor makes up for it in a little bit more explosion, a little bit more patience than James Conner.
Agree. Yeah. Don't think about it. Put JT in. And then we come to the defense who performed well.
Yeah.
In the game itself, not fantasy. In the game itself, they performed well.
Yeah.
In fantasy, they had 3 points. I've kind of gone away from the comparison to other defenses, and I have now said this is normal for Indy.
Okay.
So, I mean, after they have a big week, in terms of fantasy drop off, that's kind of normal. So, I mean, they played a good defense in the actual game, which is more of what matters than anything else.
Yeah. So more of those intangible moments, right?
Yeah.
That we talk about in our recap moments.
Which is why I will petition for the defense to be more important in fantasy rather than just, oh, you're picking up the defense. If you score 3 points, it's fine. I'll make up for it in some other person. I think there should be more categories. I think there should be a secondary, a linebacking group, and a defensive end group. Split it up into 3, and then that also means a punting crew as well. Not just defense/special teams.
So there should be points scored for sacks. There should be points scored for tackles for losses.
Yes.
There should be, I like that.
And rather than you picking up a defense in the 15th round, you go out there and you get.
And you're looking for somebody who's got a good, tackle for loss nickel corner and a good tackle for loss strong safety like Nick Cross, Kenny Moore, maybe.
Yeah,
I like this. I see why you're trying to do this right now.
I wouldn't say it's because of Colts. I've just been petitioning for it for a while. I mean, I think the defense special teams should be more of an aspect in fantasy because it's not. It's basically you're saying it's offense. That's all it is. Whenever there's stats on defense. Yeah. So
you're almost getting penalized twice. You're gaining or / penalized twice based on what's happening, and yours is the same reason I say that kickers should it should weigh more if you hit a game winner at the buzzer. I mean, I guarantee you, to Jake Moody, that field goal at the end is more important than the others that he missed.
Yeah. I
guarantee. Like it guarantees makes up for all those. And so, you don't get the 9 points, but you make up for it because of the other, right? So weighted based on time and game situation would be my defense for field goal kickers.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some reasons why you don't do that, but yeah. Go ahead. Wrap it up.
The last thing is the projection.
Yep.
Don't put them in. That's my thing before the projection even comes out. They projected 5 points. That's been the normal. They haven't even hit that past couple of weeks besides the one game.
And once again, they're playing the Jets, which we will talk about tomorrow. But that is all for today. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week with our take on how the Colts can maybe finally get a win against the reeling Jets. Is it the time, or will the Colts again turn a pumpkin into a carriage for Cinderella? It's youth versus experience as Richardson takes on Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. This is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you to stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.